was just listening to a portion of J.D. Greer's presentation that Dr. Robert Gagnon responded to yesterday. And so I have just seen stuff. We'll take 8-10 minute breaks every hour or so. And so I'd look at my phone and I would see stuff going on regarding the Southern Baptist Convention meeting, and a resolution that is being put on the floor that basically praises critical theory and intersectionality as a insufficient but important tool, and so on and so forth. And there's stuff going on regarding that. I don't know the details and things like that, but I did get to listen to the key portion of J.D. Greer's presentation. And I think one of the problems we're going to be facing, to be honest with you, is we recognize that it is inappropriate on one level to be partisan politicians. I think if you think of the Southern Baptist Convention, I think you can think of one particular church that is pretty well known for being partisan and, you know, filling the sanctuary with American flags and stuff like that. And I think most of us do not want to be there. At the same time, I think one of the challenges that we have is there is a situation that we are facing that is directly related to religious liberty, religious freedom, and a fundamental assault upon the Christian worldview that is coming from one political party that is enshrining in its party platform the fundamental denial of the central aspects of a Christian worldview. And what I'm hearing and what I heard in J.D. Greer's presentation was a very imbalanced attempt to say that both parties are doing the same thing in different ways. And when I say that, in essence, what I heard him saying is that, sure, we may have abortion. He could have been, the list could have gone on and on. Not just abortion, but infanticide. We have genetic engineering. We have abortion as a sacrament of a religion that is being presented to us in the Democratic Party. And I think I think they need to, if there were really truth in advertising, it would be the Socialist Party, because that's really what we have going on there. But we likewise have the entire LGBTQ spectrum. And we have the support for the Equality Act, which is the end of constitutional government. It's the end of the freedoms of the Bill of Rights. It is the punishment of any kind of Christian speech in the United States. This passed the House, the Democrat-dominated House. We have to recognize this. And the homosexual profaning of marriage, the issue of transgenderism, the insanity that flows from forced agreement and celebration, the destruction of all women's privacy, women's sports. This level of cultural insanity is coming from one side. To attempt to balance that by talking about immigrants and the poor doesn't work. It doesn't work for many reasons. This nation has one of the most generous immigration policies of any industrialized nation in the world. We're not talking about immigrants, and we're not talking about how to treat immigrants. We're talking about an invasion. We're talking about the destruction of borders. And when you destroy the borders of a nation, you destroy the ability to hold that nation accountable before God. You destroy the ability to have law. You have destroyed the ability to have order. You have destroyed the ability to have any kind of social cohesion. So J.D. Greear has capitulated to the language war and has given in to the redefining of terms, so that he uses the term immigrant. And of course, you have the ERLC involved with the immigration table and all the rest of that type of stuff. So it's the acceptance of leftist jargon that does not actually represent what should be being discussed from a Christian perspective at all. That's what's extremely troubling. He does not seem to see the level to which the LGBTQ people will go, and to which the Soros-dominated open borders people will go, to not only split, but to then utilize religious people to abuse the language, to take biblical categories about caring for the poor and transfer that into the kind of welfare state that is based upon theft that the left wants to present. That is an abuse of the Bible and an abuse of language. And here we're getting it from the president of the Southern Baptist Convention. It is an amazing thing to observe how quickly this has taken place. How I can't get away from saying that somehow a message went out a little over a year ago at the MLK 50 thing, that now's the time, launch, go. Whatever your particular part in this entire crusade is, now's the time to go, because something happened at that point in time, and we are now seeing it. And we're seeing it in the Southern Baptist Convention. We're seeing it in the attempts of people to get leaders to answer meaningful questions. This is all going on at the same time. And I do not believe that the Southern Baptist Convention is the be all and end all of all things, but it is a bellwether. It is, we have seen so many denominations go straight down the social justice path into irrelevancy, into liberalism, heresy, a denial of the gospel, and everything else. And we are seeing the full-on attempt to bring this on within the Southern Baptist Convention as well. It's right in front of us.
Stand up and be among the fiercest advocates for the preservation of the dignity and the rights of LGBT people. I know that we have women in this church who have had abortions. I know that some are currently experiencing an unplanned pregnancy, and I know that you are hurting and you are confused. And maybe you felt like in the situation you didn't have any other options, and there were all these pressures that were on you and you didn't know what to choose. And I don't want to make this any harder than it is. I genuinely don't. We are here for you to walk with you in that. I know that we even in our church have people who work, people that attend our church that work in some of these clinics. And I know that you entered that profession not with any ill will, but you did it because you wanted to serve.